I had to completely remake this video on account of the fact that I'm both incompetent and unprofessional. You see, this might come as a shock, but I'm not a photographer. Most of the footage that I brought home ends up looking like I filmed it with a camcorder from 2005, and that basically means that it's either unusable or it has to be completely redone and repurposed for something else entirely. And obviously, I can't really just spend the money to go back and re-get my footage. So consider this to be whatever the opposite of an addendum is. Prologue. I spent 1 week in Munich, and this is what went down. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I have to imagine that a lot of the rooms here look identical. Where are you going? Don't do that. It's literally like that meme, like Greeks and Romans sacrificing their children to the gods. The mighty son. He sounds so different than what I've heard out of a crow before. He literally just sounds like he's calling in German. So I arrived at my airport super early, like 3 or 4 hours early, like the email told me to, only for me to find that there's just one other patron at the terminal, who I'm fairly certain made more money than me because he was wearing slacks, pacing, and was just on his phone upset the entire time. And I just assumed that that's typically the look that people who make a lot of money have. Well dressed, very stressed. To be completely honest with you, the first flight was really incredible. I mean, there's not much more that gets the testosterone pumping than the feeling of sheer power that these flying buses can generate in a short amount of time. I'm like, there's very few times where I genuinely feel like a happy child, and that first plane takeoff in like 10 years, that did it for me. That was super awesome. I'm so glad I don't fly frequently though, because oh man, it almost killed me coming home. Oh, don't even get me started on the clouds though, bro. Who can forget these fluffy boys? One of them was shaped like a dollop of ice cream and brought about this craving for whipped cream at 27,000 feet. So anyway, I landed in Atlanta because it's an international airport, and my choices were cold Detroit, hot Atlanta. So I was like, I'll take heat over cold because cold hurts more. And I have to sprint to the next terminal to make it to my transit flight in time. You ready for this? This is not an airport. This is a fucking shopping mall. And then I was on my way to Paris, where on this particular plane, took me 2, 3, 4 hours to figure out that the button on the right side is the one that lets my seat recline all 4 inches. So anyway, I arrive at Munich International Airport, where I meet my tour guide / translator, who I cannot thank enough for all of her help on the trip, because she made herself truly indispensable for me in that regard, and making sure that we always got where we needed to go. And she did a great job translating, as stressed as I know it made her. I'm proud of you. You did good. I probably should have prepared more, to be fair. I truly could not have done it without you, and it was a delight to spend that time with you, so thanks. But I also want to give another huge shout out to the hotel staff at the Wunderlag, who really just made it so much less stressful. You know, you guys were awesome, and it's super appreciated. To be honest, it was under construction while I got there, so like not all of the utilities were available for use. But I mean, honestly, they just provided me with everything I needed, and it was a good price. Like, it was like the cheapest hotel. I got for like $400. I got to stay for 6 nights. I mean, how do you beat that? Featuring a bar, spa, gym, rooftop bar, and they have some live shows on like weeknights. There was a live painting that I wish I could have went to, but also I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it's live painting. I feel like I'd be too immature to actually compose myself. So a brief history on Munich real quick. It's the big boy city in, bear with me, German people, Freistaat Bayern. Freistaat Bayern. Literally, it means the Free State of Bavaria. So, home to 1.4 million people, second biggest city that I've ever been in, second largest economy in Germany by GDP, meaning it really is the wealthy place that I figured it was going to be. I'm unsure as to what the Bavarian culture is for this specifically, but I know Germany for its beer, its brisket, the pork I had was especially fantastic that one time when that one thing happened, and bread. I didn't even get bread fresh, like immediately take a bite of it whenever I bought it from a bakery, but it was just the flavor. Oh my God, the flavor was just, it was next level. I mean, I don't know how else to tell you people. If you're from the US and you've never had good bread, I'm sorry. We should just be so ashamed of ourselves as a people in America. Our food sucks. There's so much sugar, there's a lot of additives, and especially MSG. Anyway, day 2 was a trip to the Marienplatz. Oh, I'm thinking about it now. I can't do it. I don't want the American pronunciation. Marienplatz. Really gorgeous central square in the middle of Munich. It houses a ton of architectural history. It stores both modern and traditional, with everything from Skechers to Ray-Ban, Tommy Hilfiger to authentic lederhosen retailers such as, I said that wrong too, Steindl, Trachten. Among other souvenir shops and more modern stores with all manner of unique items. I actually got this really cool sweater from this super kind gentleman who ran a shop on the side of the street. It feels super thin, but it's like incredibly warm, and it like, I don't know, it just feels nice to wear. All right, this is like one of the greatest things I've ever bought, and it's totally a souvenir that makes me look fat. I was going to take it off, but I think I'm just going to wear it for the rest of the recording. Marienplatz has been the main square of Munich since 1158 and the home of all manner of markets and tournaments held in the Middle Ages. Originally known as Marktschreine and Schreinenplatz, literally market, grain market, and grain market square. It was moved to its modern glass and iron buildings in 1853, renamed to Marienplatz in October of 1854. You're welcome. Bro, so on day 3, we went to Hofbräuhaus. Oh man, it's a really old, like, traditional type tavern? Kinda? I don't know what you would call it. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you, when I say that I never thought unseasoned meat, or at least lightly seasoned meat, could actually taste like food, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I said I was ready for it, because I was just not. It blew me away, because it wasn't even like complicated. I also finally tried dark beer. Dark German beer specifically. I'd tried regular German beer at that point. Y'all did it good. Did good up on the beer. Obviously, that's what you're known for. Here's another thing that I totally forgot to take a picture of. They still have like the old school Fanta in glass bottles. Maybe it was plastic, but it looked like it was glass. I didn't touch it. It just looked so much cooler. The old retro art style looked so much cleaner, and it had like, you know, a unique draw to it. It really popped and stood out. And then we got like regular Fanta. Also, Germany. Why in God's name do you only have Fanta? Because nobody actually likes orange Fanta. I'm sorry. There's like 4 different kinds of orange drinks, and Fanta is at the very bottom. Like, I'll take Orange Crush any day. That might be a hot take too. I don't know. Maybe people don't even like orange drinks. I love it. It's not the point. I'm rambling. Moving on. Fanta's just one of the things that I recognized when I was there, and I didn't want to like experiment too much with anything new in terms of beverages while I was there. I was like, I'm going to throw myself at the wall when it comes to beer. I feel the need to constantly hydrate, and I just didn't want to buy something I was going to dislike. Hydro homies, rise up, turn up, drink up. Right, so after I found the empty Fanta bottle that I didn't think to take a picture of, we went to visit Nymphenburg Palace, a remarkably large mansion with a remarkably large courtyard for the remarkably large egos for whoever made this thing. This thing is actually incredible to look at. The rear garden lined with statues of Greek gods and symmetry over the river, the garden and the main doors. It's just a treat. For the sake of not being boring, I'll summarize the history of the palace as being a royal hunting lodge from what Wikipedia tells me. Very expensive, very useful. Didn't finish reading the wiki page as I figured nobody really cared, but I'll link it in the description for those who are interested. For those of you who aren't, it's okay because we were too late to get a tour, so we only took pictures and videos of the outside. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, I have to imagine that a lot of the rooms here look identical. Quick aside, actually, for when we were there. So there was this fun moment, like we were about to leave and this guy comes up to ask my personal tour guide and translator if she spoke German. And she was like, yeah, I speak German. Ah, okay, cool. Talked to my girlfriend for a second. Couldn't wrap my head around exactly why. Because the only thing I could think of is like, A, he didn't know how to handle talking to another female in front of his girlfriend, or B, it's just kind of dumb. Because she just asked my homie to take a picture of them, and I was like, he spoke German too. How hard is it to have just asked us to take the picture anyway? I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much more time thinking about it, because like we had a hard time trying to rationalize what happened the whole time we were there. Okay, even though I've recorded this once, this is still funny because we're starting off strong with my favorite picture from the whole trip. But this is the he looks like Melvin from Madagascar. I don't think he's actually a giraffe. Mummy caskets. These are some of the first ones that we ran into. No mummies, of all things, which is a little bit sad. I'm a bit disappointed that we actually didn't have any mummies there. I mean, look at the designs on these. Like, inside, too. Somebody really put probably way too much effort into that. I guess they probably also didn't have a choice, you know, slavery. Look at this face. Me kind of just looks like me whenever I wake up after a hard night of drinking. We got arrowheads. I made an arrowhead once. You know, they took us on a field trip one time when we were super young, like back in elementary school, and we went to some Daniel Boone like national park stuff where a bunch of young white people dressed up as some ye old white people and made soap. And then they just handed a bunch of rocks to a bunch of 6-year-olds and said, here, make arrowheads. Spearheads, I think. Fashioned to a big long boy and then poke things with it. More pottery! What is this? I mean, it looks like cat dog, but without the cat. Instead, he's got 2 legs. We got a fish. More hand axes. Upside down buried horse. I have no idea what those are. Boat! I assume it's a casket. It's kind of what it looks like. Bury me in a wooden box, bro. I mean, that's cheap. Actually, I work retail. Bury me in cardboard. You know, a Head and Shoulders. Terrified Man's. We got some more pottery. Some tiny pottery. Tiny stuff is just so cool. Also child. Another mummy tube. I mean, think about it though. Somebody dedicated a not insignificant portion of their life just to making the art on this, or everybody to just bury it and it never be seen again. Never be seen again. Yeah, as if I'm not looking at it to take the picture, you dunce. This boy's even bigger. Why are his eyes open? That's terrifying. Also, there's a wooden one, which is just much less cool by comparison. The wood boy with no nose. This is a video of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Also, they call it the Book of Going Out by Day, which sounds a lot cooler and less cryptic. Oh, creepy anthropomorphic things, but they're made out of turquoise. Look at that. Is something right out of my nightmares. I don't like that. That's creepy. I don't think. Horus! He's the bird. He's a bird, first of all, which is already cool, and his name is Horus. I mean, he also kind of reminds me of the Tootsie Pop owl, but honestly, he's just cool. He's the bird Horus. I don't know what this is. Why is he so round? Also, we have tiny insects, beetles and such. I don't like beetles at all. These men look like they have look how detailed that is. That's super cool. It's the long boy in the soup tube. What has happened? We got a frog. Looks like a chocolate frog. Away, actually. Yeah, I don't think I can show those. I think I'll actually get demonetized. Oh, that's unfortunate. What is this? Daffy Duck, but Egyptian? Or maybe it's just the old school duck face. Maybe they invented it before 2015 did. Old school Egyptian carpeting and like wool weaving, looming. What I don't know what I'm trying to say. Early Christian motifs. Okay, the TLDR for this one is Christianity in Egypt is called Coptic, and Egyptian Christians are called Copts. What is that? More pottery. Decapitated bird on the bottom right. Blue cup. I don't have anything interesting to say. It's a cup. Look, it's blue kitchen tile, but vertically. I mean, that's what it looks like. It's way more impressive than that because it's, you know, actually slotted in. It's like Lego, but it's a wall. We've got more tiny blue stuff. Oh, are they fish? Oh, check it out. It's Thoth, but as an ibis, and he's made of gold and whatever the orange color is. Oh, we got our beaded necklaces out in here. You know, the things that you'd put on to make a lot of noise for, like, you know, your corporate business meetings about the Mesopotamian Trade Network and the weekly bonfire dance. Bronze tools, baby. I thought that was a tonfa at first. That is not a tonfa. It's our first cosmetic weapon, bro. Don't be coming at me talking about the new Call of Duty anime skin being expensive. Well, that's actually all I managed to walk away with the Egyptian Museum. Actually, that's not true. I managed to come away with a lanyard to add to my collection. So day 5 is where I spent a lot of my time working on another video that's not this one, and that'll be released sometime. Outside of that, we paid a visit to the Deutsches Museum, revolving primarily around aerospace and robotic engineering. There's also some astronomical stuff that's up at the very top floor. It was actually super cool because, like, bottom floor was like robotics and a little bit of engineering, and then you went up a floor and then it was like jet engines and then boat pistons, and like with each successive floor, the technology that was being showcased only got more complex and more interesting. Honestly, I don't think we picked the best day to go, as it was full of quite the rambunctious group of children. Because by the time we made it like to the end of the tour, whenever we, you know, you get to the top floor where it's full of all the astronomy stuff and it's got the interactive displays that we didn't get to touch, by the way, but that's basically when we decided, heck it, we're going back to the hotel. Day 6 was like the final full day that I had in Munich. And this is whenever we met up with another friend that I've made several years ago. And we all went to go visit the Sea Life Aquarium, also known as the Water Zoo, as it were. Located literally across the street from the BMW Museum, where you can go 100 miles an hour. I will not apologize for that. Sea Life is more of a sanctuary for the endangered, unhealthy, or otherwise led a life full of misfortune type species and animals. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there, but everybody that works there is also super kind to the patrons and had nothing but love for the creatures that they housed. Honestly, it's more than I expected. I didn't know how big the aquarium was actually going to be given the ticket costs, and I was just assuming that it was going to be a little bit mediocre, but they packed a lot into like a not very large space. I mean, they had everything from fish to, you know, jellyfish, tiny jellyfish. That was so wild to me. I've never seen like the super tiny boys. Oh, it was so cute. And fugu. They had seahorses, so cute. They're all asleep. Look at them. There was a really shy octopus at one point who just, he was absolutely terrified. I made eye contact with him one time and he was like, There was actually some super cute lizards and turtles in there as well, because you had, like, the turtles are so small. We had a turtle like that. Well, one of my cousins had a turtle like that, named him Marlin. There's also a giant slug. I mean, look at him! Or her. Don't really know. I wasn't paying that much. I think it was a she, but I wasn't paying that much attention. I find such things frightening. But also, they had this giant, like, it's basically literally a room with a dome on it, and the aquarium is on top of the dome. I mean, it was like, honestly, this is probably my favorite room, even though there's like nothing going on. There's another tank of them in different colors, and the long boys. Bro, could you imagine having limbs that long? If your arms were like that long, could they handle getting tangled up like that? Got the anemones. Anemone. Oh, bro, it's Merlin.
Where's my fucking son?
Or like it kind of just looks like they have scales. I don't know. Maybe they either have scales or it looks like they're all wearing fishnets, getting ready to go to their next EDM concert. The seahorses. The seahorses are actually so cute, bro. They were all asleep. Every single one of them. Actually, that's not true. I think there was like one of them, but they were all just like curled up and like holding on to each other. Shit was so cute. With the nose boys, they look like hummingbirds if hummingbirds were fish. Is that an eel?
Hey, bitch, what's up, bitch?
Oh, it's the shy squid. Look at him. I made eye contact with him and he was like, please, I'm uncomfortable. Look, squids actually terrify me. Well, giant squid specifically. Yo, I don't know what these are called, but I learned about this fish from I learned about this fish from Deuce Bigelow. I got a fugu. Look at him. He's so happy. Or at least he just looks happy. They all just look like they're having a good time. He's vibing.
Oh
shit. Next up. Yo, this thing's nasty. God, it makes my skin crawl. Look at it, just everybody, they're just, it's fine. That's funny. Oh, yeah, the little shark tube. Look at him, he's just chilling on the floor. Then you got, you know, Scar, the guy that helped Nemo screw up the fish tank. What was his name? His name was literally just Gil. Okay. This boy up here, he is chilling. He's totally logged in. Look at man is fully logged in. What is this? Oh, these are the stick bugs. They're gross, bro. These things are so horrifying. What are these things? How do they work? I don't know, but I don't want to know. That's freaky. Look at this big boy. Also, we had some lizards. There's another little fat boy. He's having a good time. It's just spitting food out. Here's the giant snail. And man, I don't know, bro. I mean, it's super cute, but also, like, it's horrifying. And that's it. Honestly, best week of my life. Wouldn't trade it for anything. If you have an opportunity to go to Munich, highly recommend it. It's a great place to visit and have just a ton of fun. Or just, I mean, visit anywhere. Just go to a different country. Like that alone. Just show up. Don't really have a plan. Just wander around as long as you can find your way. Or if you speak the same language, it makes it easy. Just go do some stuff, man. I mean, honestly, it's a fantastic time. I recommend it to anybody. And I'm not really one for outros, so love you, bye. It's really slimy and just, I don't like the movements it makes. It just makes me uncomfortable.